Superman fans, to your speeding bulletin for the week April 19th to April 25th, 2013. A week which saw an announcement of a Walmart Man of Steel promotion, 2 new Empire magazine covers for Man of Steel, and another win in the courts for Warner Brothers. Let's jump in and take a closer look. Superman fans, mark your calendars. Walmart announced this week that it has partnered with Warner Brothers to give its customers exclusive access to see Man of Steel in theatres across America before the film's official release. Tickets for the exclusive screening of Man of Steel will go on sale in more than 3,700 Walmart stores starting at 8 AM on May 18th. Customers will be able to purchase up to 4 tickets per visit and have the option to choose between 2D or 3D showings where applicable. The advanced screenings will take place in selected local theatres nationwide at 7 PM on June 13th. Visit walmart.com/Man of Steel for more details. Part of the Walmart promotion is the official Man of Steel Experience mobile app. Fans can bring Superman to life with the augmented reality app. The app allows customers to take photos with Superman as well as unlock special photo frames by pointing their phone at Man of Steel signage in their local Walmart. You can download the app from the Apple App Store or Google Play now. Empire revealed 2 different Man of Steel covers for the June 2013 edition of their magazine. The June issue of Empire hit newsstands on Thursday with the Kryptonian doubleheader exclusive. With not 1 but 2 exclusive Man of Steel covers for you to feast your eyes on, the latest Empire features both Henry Cavill's Kal-El with caper billowing and Michael Shannon's General Zod looking like he could crack planets with a scowl. Visit empireonline.com for further details. The LA Times published an article about Man of Steel in which they spoke to director Zack Snyder, who said, "It's the most realistic movie I've made. Superman is a thing that must be taken seriously and embraced and understood." You can read the full article at latimes.com. IamRogue.com conducted an exclusive interview with actor Michael Shannon and asked him for his thoughts on what makes his General Zod different to any we've seen before. Here's a snippet from the interview.
But I just approached it, to me the key way into the character was I'm playing a general. So what is a general? I didn't think, oh, I'm playing the villain or the bad guy or the killer or whatever. It's like, I'm a general, you know. And a general is, there are a lot of generals that you can study and try and figure out, you know, what that experience is like. Because a general actually, in theory, is not an evil person.
During filming for Man of Steel, Michael Shannon was photographed wearing a motion capture unitard with the tracking dots all over it, leading to speculation that his General Zod would wear a computer-generated costume of some kind. In an interview with Collider.com, Michael Shannon confirms that he never actually had to wear the bulky metallic costume we now associate with Zod in Man of Steel. Read the interview at Collider.com. E-Online also posted quotes from their interview with Michael Shannon, in which he discusses the fight scenes he and Henry Cavill shot together for Man of Steel, and what he thinks of Henry's performance now that he's seen a final cut of the movie. He said, "He's perfect, he's flawless, he's everything you could possibly want." 6 major cinema chains in the UK are now taking advanced ticket bookings for Man of Steel ahead of its release on June 14th. You can now book your Man of Steel tickets to see the movie at your local Cineworld Cinema, Empire Cinema, IMAX Cinema, Picture House, Odeon Cinema, and Showcase Cinema. Visit the UK Man of Steel Facebook page to book your tickets. Kotobukiya Man of Steel Superman statue is now available for pre-order. The amazing 1/6 scale Artifacts Man of Steel Superman statue from Kotobukiya comes with a posable real cloth cape and detailed textured costume. It's now available to pre-order from our online store. Additionally, the 2 Square Enix highly anticipated Man of Steel Play Arts Kai figures are also now available to pre-order. Due out in June, the 2 figures in this series are Superman and General Zod. Order yours now from our online store. To tie in with their Become the Man of Steel promotion, Kellogg's have also released a Man of Steel app for iPhones, iPads and the iPod Touch. The Kellogg's Become the Man of Steel app puts you in the action by giving you 5 different ways to unleash the power of Superman right on your smartphone or tablet. You can download the free Man of Steel Kellogg's app from the iTunes Store now. As of this week, the Carl's Jr. Cool Kids combos now include a Man of Steel toy. There are 4 items to collect: freestanding Superman figurine, a classic ring featuring the Man of Steel glyph, silicone wristband featuring the Man of Steel glyph, and collectible cards, 3 cards in each set, collect all 3 sets. The carlskids.com website has more details on the toys, including a fun zone section that features wallpapers, colouring sheets and a maze for kids to complete. The official Man of Steel Facebook page has posted the complete movie preview article from the April 19th, April 26th, 2013 edition of Entertainment Weekly. The special edition of Entertainment Weekly hit newsstands last week. You can also order it online through the EW website. Late last month, Henry Cavill travelled to Japan, where he participated in a number of interviews yet to be published, to promote Man of Steel. This very short video message from Henry Cavill to Japanese fans made its way around the internet this week. Have a look.
Hello Japanese fans, I'm Henry Cavill. My new film Man of Steel opens in theatres August 30th. I hope you'll enjoy it. Ine.
While Man of Steel is released in June in most countries, the movie won't be released in Japan until August 30th. Warner Bros. Home Entertainment released a couple of preview clips from Superman Unbound, the next entry in the popular series of DC Universe animated original movies. In this clip we see Superman's first encounter with Brainiac, a destructive force who has been devastating planets across the galaxy, with Earth next in his sights. You can pre-order Superman Unbound on Blu-ray and/or DVD from our online store. Will and Tale, a creative production company in LA, this week released the following 1 minute 38-second fan-made title sequence they created inspired by the upcoming release of Man of Steel. Check it out.
And our top news story tonight. Passengers on a commercial flight headed to Kansas City claim they spotted a UFO while landing at KCI.
It was bright in the front and flames coming behind it, and I never seen anything like this before.
He may resemble your average kid, but this young athlete has already won big-time awards. A marvel to watch on the basketball court and on the track. For this 11-year-old, the sky's the limit.
Caught on camera, an incredible flying figure saves a man from a burning building.
And it was just like a streak that went by the side of the building, and the guy was gone.
In the depths of our nation's troubles, could this hero be a sign of hope? Perhaps a brighter story for our children to tell. Reporting for Daily Planet, I'm Lois Lane.
You can check out a behind-the-scenes blog about this video at willandtale.com. In comic book news, Newsarama.com caught up with Scott Lobdell to get some clarification on the story we read in Superboy number 19, which saw some time travel elements to Con-El's origins. As for Superboy's DNA makeup, he said, Harvest needed to take John Lane Kent back to a time where Harvest could get the original genetic material of Lois Lane and Clark Kent. He then used that DNA strand of Superman, the DNA strand of Lois Lane, and the DNA strand of John Lane Kent to create Superboy. Superman comic books we reviewed this week included Supergirl number 19, which was reviewed by James Lance, who said, the direction feels more clear, and he gave it a 5 out of 5. Ralph Silver reviewed Justice League number 19, giving it a 4 out of 5, saying, I am looking forward to things heating up next issue. Injustice Gods Among Us chapter 14 was reviewed by Mark Pritchard, who asked, is it over? And he gave it a 2 out of 5. Mark also reviewed Smallville season 11 chapter 43, giving it a 4 out of 5, saying, the inclusion of a new Krypton is intriguing. Superman Beyond number 17 was reviewed by Sean Morrissey, who said, there has been so much depth in the story, and he gave it a 4 out of 5 rating. Superman comics available this week from April 24 include Injustice Gods Among Us chapter 15, digital comic, has been available since April 23rd. Injustice Gods Among Us number 4 print edition. Superman number 19, which has a gatefold cover. Also comes available in a Mad variant cover. Teen Titans number 19. Also has a gatefold cover. And also comes available in a Mad variant cover. Superman Family Adventures number 12 is the final issue. Smallville Season 11 Chapter 44 digital comic is available April 26th. And Superman Beyond Man of Tomorrow trade paperback.
As we get closer to the release of Man of Steel in June, each week sees a whole list of new toys, statues and other items released for the movie. Grab yourself the Funko DC Comics Man of Steel movie Superman Wacky Wobbler for $16.99. Or how about the Funko DC Comics Man of Steel movie Superman plush for just $13.99. These and other great Man of Steel items are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop.
In other news, the legal battle between Warner Brothers and the heirs of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster is effectively over, with a US District Court judge ruling that the studio now fully owns the rights to the character of Superboy as well. Judge Otis Wright III wrote, "The court holds that the 2001 settlement agreement between DC and the Siegels re-granted the Siegels Superman, Superboy and Superman advertisements that ran in the 1930s to DC in return for substantial advances and royalties." Superman The Ultimate Guide to the Man of Steel and Man of Steel Inside the Legendary World of Superman author Daniel Wallace was our special guest on this week's Radio KAL live show. If you missed it, you can find the recorded 1-hour show at supermanhomepage.com/live. Speaking of which, the Superman homepage and DK Publishing have teamed up to give 4 Superman fans a chance to each win a copy of the book Superman The Ultimate Guide to the Man of Steel. The giveaway contest will officially conclude at 11:59 PM on Sunday, April 28th, and the lucky winners will be announced on the front page of the website on Monday, April 29th. Head to the site now to submit your entry. Episode 100 of Radio KAL, the monthly podcast of the Superman homepage, is now available to listen to. In this episode, Scotty and I discuss Man of Steel viral marketing campaign, the Man of Steel 3-minute trailer, Man of Steel merchandise and promotions, Superman Unbound, Superman number 18, Action Comics number 19, Superboy number 19, Supergirl number 19, the Superboy legal battle, Injustice Gods Among Us, our April Fool's Day pranks, the 2013 Superman celebration, celebrity guests, and much more. Check it out at supermanhomepage.com/radio. That's all the Superman news there was for the week April 19th to April 25th. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V, and thanks for watching. Lois Lane, whether she's a girlfriend, a rival, a wife, or just a really good friend and great journalistic partner, she's always been an integral part of our last Son of Krypton's life. Since the first issue of Action #1, where Lois Lane was supposedly based on the wife of Jerry Siegel, we saw that she was feisty. She was oftentimes portrayed as nasty toward Clark, but always out for the story and always willing to go as far as she had to go to get it. That has continued through the ages, through the Golden Age, the Silver Age, through the Modern Age, and into today. And we have so many different variations to look at when we're talking about Lois, whether it's Dean Cain's Terry Hatcher as Lois Lane, whether it's George Reeves, Phyllis Coates at first, and then Noel Neill after that, whether she's Erica Durance on Smallville, who, by the way, was actually always Lois Lane, whereas there's still an argument going on about whether Tom Welling was ever actually Superman or if he should only be considered Clark Kent. There's no argument like that with Erica Durance because she was Lois Lane from the beginning. Whether it's a Superman Returns Lois Lane, whom many people say didn't have enough chemistry or didn't have enough acting skills or didn't really fit the role. But in the immortal words of Frank Langella, Lois Lane is as much a part to Superman as is truth, justice, and all that other stuff. Recently, I've been asked by several fans if I thought that Lois seemed a little out of character in this new Man of Steel trailer. Now, my first answer to that, of course, is it's just a trailer. We're only seeing a snippet, an idea, a generalization of what this movie might entail. And from the new trailer, as I talked about last week, I see a lot of great things that I'm very stoked about, very positive about. It looks action-packed, of course, but it also looks like it has a ton of emotion, story, plot, an explanation of Krypton that we've never seen before. I love so many things. And one of the things that I really love about the trailer is that there has been question as to why Lois hasn't been included in the other trailers, other than just a fleeting glimpse or holding Superman's hand. I like that Lois's part in all of this is really exemplified in the new trailer. We see her digging through caves or ice sculptures or possibly the fortress or somewhere else where supposedly the Man of Steel has been. She's tracking him. She also gives a voiceover where she's narrating. There's a few things going on there, and a few ideas that I have. One of my speculations was, is it possible that Lois Lane is going to be kind of like a narrator throughout this film? Would that be acceptable? For me, I don't know that I want a constant narrator throughout the entire film, but maybe 2 or 3 times. And I've read many a comic book where Lois or Clark or even Perry and sometimes Jimmy are writing a story. And we don't find out that the narrator of the comic book is the writer of one of these stories, Clark, Lois, Jimmy, or Perry, until the last page, until we find out what it is that's personal about this particular story to them. And throughout the story, not on every page, but on certain pages, there's a little block in a different color from the other dialogue that is the writer writing. Or when you're reading a story, it seems like the narrator narrating, and then turns out to be a story that Lois Lane or Clark or somebody is writing, which I could see happening in this movie, and I could see myself kind of liking that. And by the voiceover of Amy Adams through this new trailer, I get the impression that that's kind of the idea they might have been going for. But on the other hand, she could be having a simple conversation with her sister, her mother, Perry, Jimmy, or Jenny, if that's what it ends up being. So it could be Perry saying, "Go out and find this guy. What do I pay you for?" And her saying, "How do you find a guy who?" Or it could be her writing a story that we're going to see printed at the end of the movie. I finally found Superman. Whatever, but that would be really cool. But the other thing that I have had brought up to me over the last week or so since the trailer was released, a week and a half, whatever it is that it almost seems like this Lois is kind of stretching for a story, kind of chasing down what seems to be more like tabloid fodder, Bigfoot type stories than it does a world-class reporter of someone's intelligence that Lois Lane is always supposed to have. And my explanation for that is that, again, it's a trailer. We don't know exactly what the context is of this. My thought is how perfect it would be if at some point earlier in this Lois's life, this guardian angel that she calls him saved her, or saved someone important to her, or saved someone that she knew near to her, and she saw him or saw a glimpse of him. Also, if Superman was in the world and was going out performing super feats, even if he sped away before anybody could get solid evidence or a picture, there would be thousands, millions of people who had experienced this Superman saving their lives. So it really wouldn't be a couple of guys in the woods going, "Oh, we saw Bigfoot," as they're swilling beer and, standing with their raccoon traps. This would be different. This would be world over. People would be recording this, and just nobody would have an actual picture of the man, or a story with the man, or knowledge of the man firsthand. But it would be clearly evident within a certain amount of time, if he kept doing these things, that it was happening and that it was real, and not like Bat Boy found in a cave. So that's one explanation. The other being that he saved her at some point, and that's what gives her the obsession at finding him. And the other is this could be the breaking, the story that really breaks her career. And I've heard the argument, well, Lois has always been a world-class reporter at the top of her game, but that's not necessarily true. At some point in anybody's career, they are not at the top of their game. Even if they reach Tom Cruise levels of movie stardom, at some point they were, the guy in the frat house that barely had a part. The guy sliding in on his socks that finally made his career. And he started to become a superstar at that point. At some point, they come across something that changes things. And I could see being the first person to actually speak with and track down the first alien ever recorded to visit the planet would be a pretty big deal. I don't think that this tarnishes her character at all, although we haven't seen the movie yet. You know, if it turns out that she's some obsessed fan woman that is chasing this guy down and is stalking him, then it will be a little different than what I expect. But what I expect, based on what I have seen, is a very strong Lois, a smart Lois. I mean, did you see her sitting at the table at the end? She was snarky. She was ready. She had comments. She was perfectly confident. She wasn't intimidated in the least sitting in this room with him. Now, maybe this comes later after she's held his hand and she's befriended him, and maybe they're just playing this up for the cameras and for the military. But it looks to me to be their first conversation in front of all these people, and she's just as confident as he is. I love the chemistry. It's palpable. There's an energy there that is fantastic. And, you know, Lois Lane is so important to the story. And I think that oftentimes in many Superman retellings, the women in the story are really downplayed. Martha, Lara, Lois at times. And I really hope that both Martha and Lara get their own portion of the story, to where we feel that they're really important and integral to what is going on. And Lois, who obviously in many different mediums, Smallville for one, has been huge and has been explored in a great way. I also like the way she was explored in Lois and Clark, even though it was canceled much sooner in a different kind of flavor than Smallville. We really found out who these people were, whereas a lot of times in a movie, when you only have 2 hours, it's really about the action and the plot, and let's get from point A to point B as quickly as we can, with, you know, some story points and some character development in there. And I'm really hoping, you know, with at least 3 main influences on Superman's growing life being women, that they are explored thoroughly in terms of story and in terms of their importance to the character. Less so than Lois, I have seen Martha and Lara be explored very little. Lois oftentimes is very integral to the plot. Sometimes she's a damsel in distress. Sometimes she's just a kind of a pivot point for the plot to move around. I'm really hoping to see some great stuff from the women in this movie, and particularly Lois, who probably is the most integral and most important. And from the looks of this trailer, I think we're going to get just that. She's not just going to be Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, but she's going to be an integral part of his life, an integral part of him being shown to the world, and an integral part of his creation and his ongoing fight for truth, justice, and the American way. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.